Hello everybody. Today we're going to be going over a comprehensive analysis of specific Pokemon to use in competitive play. And today we're going to be looking at Cofagrigus, a very, very, very bulky physical wall. And I gotta say, I love this guy. I think he's one of the best walls in the game. He easily handles some of the tougher Pokemon like Garchomp, Salamence, bulky, or not so bulky, but physical attackers he can really take care of. You know what I mean? So let's just take a quick look at the stats, right? So what we got here is a base 145 defense, which is amazing. That's really good, and special defense of 105. That's also pretty solid. So not only is he going to be able just to absorb physical hit, but he can also take one or two special or super effective special defense attacks that would go to his special defense as opposed to his defense. So he's pretty darn bulky. He can take whatever he wants just fine, and that's why I love using him so much. I don't think I use a wall like him as often as I do. He just is amazing. So let's go over what item you could run with him. So I'm going to go ahead and type in leftovers. And you see, this is going to allow him to recover health 1/16 per turn, which is great because he really doesn't have a reliable recovery move like some of the other balls out there. But you know what? Shoot, he can have, we're going to go over another move that he's going to get, which is Pain Split. And that's about it, really. So leftovers is just that extra something to give him a little more health at the end of each turn. And that can be incredibly useful, especially for a wall like him that you want to keep around. So yeah, let's go ahead and add leftovers. His ability, which is kind of unique. It is unique, and it's very, very cool in what it does. So as you can see, you can read the description here. Pokemon making contact with this Pokemon have their ability changed to Mummy, and so it's pretty much useless for him. But what it does to the opponent is, if they have a beneficial ability, like Talonflame, for example, if a Talonflame makes a physical hit with this guy is going to give him Mummy, and that's going to nullify Talonflame's cool ability, Gale Wings, and reset him to the regular priority. So what you can then do is take out a faster attacker than Talonflame and knock it out with a rock type or any other electric, water, something that can take Talonflame out, because now it doesn't have priority over your Pokemon with its ability Gale Wings. Now that's just an example. There are a lot of ways you can use this ability, but for purpose being, that's a good example. So let's go on into his moves. Now the first move you probably want to run on there is Hex, H-E-X. And what that's going to do, what's that going to do is it has a base power of 65, and it will, what we're going to do is we're going to set this guy up as a Pokemon that can take hits, and he can lessen the amount of damage he takes when he afflicts another Pokemon with a status ailment. So what Hex does is its power doubles if the target has a status ailment, which is pretty cool. So what it would be is 170 base power if they were burned, for example, or poisoned. So that makes it a whole lot more useful, a whole lot more reliable than, say, Shadow Ball, which initially would have more power, but chances are we're probably going to get a burn off or a different status ailment on something, So that's going to allow us to attack even heavier with this guy. Our next move is going to be Pain Split. Oops. Yep. So for example, if you're at low health, or let's say you're at 25%, and the opponent switches in a guy at 100%, and you go ahead and use this move, it will even out whatever health you have left. So you're going to be gaining health while simultaneously taking some away from the opponent, which is tremendously useful. Nah, it just works out. It's something that people don't expect too often, because how often do you see a bulky ghost type wall? Almost never. This is pretty much it. So with that, you know, it'll catch them a little off guard, and if you're at low health, it can totally change the game. So that's great. So we got Pain Split, Hex, and we also want to throw Will-O-Wisp. This is the status ailment I was talking about with that move Hex. So once you install a Will-O-Wisp upon the opponent, it's going to half their attack. So this is why Cofagrigus can handle extremely high attackers, physical attackers like Salamence, Garchomp, whatever. He can live any one attack. He can take the Choice Band Outrage from a Salamence, no problem. He can just take it at full health. And what he can do is, he can put a Will-O-Wisp. He probably won't live the second one, but he can throw up a Will-O-Wisp on the Pokemon, and then you can take him back and send somebody else in who can also take that attack somewhat well, especially with the Will-O-Wisp up, which will half their attack. And also, it will boost the power of Hex and turn into a base 170 move, which is going to be awesome. And our last move is going to be Knockoff. And it just removes the item. So if you are predicting the opponent to switch out, just go ahead and go for a knockoff. You'll knock off something, and that's great. So shoot, you're making progress. But so now we're at the EVs here at the base stats. You're going to want to ignore this. This is dumb. Some of the suggestions are just dumb on there. But anyway, so what you're going to want to do is maximize his HP 252 EVs and his defense. And also you're going to want to throw a 4 into either special defense or special attack. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Let's just throw it into special attack. And for our nature, we want to add it to defense and subtract from a stat we're not going to use, like speed. Cofagrigus is not worth saving at slow. He's so slow, but I mean, he can just take attacks, no problem. So, yeah. So now he has 427 defense, all while sporting a very reasonable 246 defense. So this guy, I mean, he just works out on teams. I don't think I've made a team without Cofagrigus in a long time. I mean, before Cofagrigus, I was using maybe Torkoal, which is great. By all means, use him, but Torkoal just has a lot of things that don't go right with right form, you know. Stealth Rocks don't work out. He is a Rapid Spinner, which is something that Cofagrigus can't do, but still, Cofagrigus is just much more bulky on the special side. So that adds to his survivability for a little while. And if you had to, you could leave him in on a special attack if you had to, and he could still probably make it out there fine. So in reality, that's probably the best thing you can do. But yeah, I cannot recommend this guy enough. He does work for me all of the time, and it works out. He's so good. All right. Well, I'm going to be making daily Pokemon battles, daily Pokemon videos. Subscribe if you have not, that'd be great. And I'm just getting started here, but I intend to keep going, okay? Alright, thank you so much. Bye.